everyone here in the ODGAF conference room, as well as those in the Zoom meeting room to please settle down because the program will begin in a few minutes. But before anything else, to all our Zoom participants or virtual guests, please be reminded that this meeting will be recorded for purposes of documentation. You may access our privacy policy at the link stated or presented in the screen. We also have a few house rules to ensure the smooth conduct of this event. Number one, kindly please mute your audio at all times. However, turn on your camera and audio if you are called to speak or if you want to say something. Number two, rename your account in this format. Your organization and of course, your first name, comma, last name. Example, Arta Juan de la Cruz. And number three, kindly please raise your hand in Zoom for questions and please limit your questions to the subject matter at hand.
The Philippine Good Regulatory Principles, or PGRP, are a set of principles outlining good regulatory practices. Government agencies can align their regulatory processes and activities using the PGRP. We aim to have regulators that are able to create and adopt regulations that do not add undue regulatory burden to the transacting public. The Anti-Red Tape Authority, or ARTA, in accordance with its mandates as prescribed under Republic Act 11032, will promote these principles so that businesses and regulated entities understand what they can expect from regulators. Let's learn the principles together. Principle 1. Clarity. Regulators should provide clear rationale, objectives, goals, institutional frameworks, and support mechanisms in the regulations they issue. Principle 2. Legal and empirical basis. Regulators should ensure that all regulations come from sound legal and empirical basis which validate new or continuing government intervention. Principle 3. Cost versus benefit. Regulators should issue regulations that benefit society, justify costs, reduce unintended effects, and minimize negative impact to the economy, society, and the environment. Meanwhile,
Recording in progress.
Assessment. Regulators should assess and consider all policy options, including non-regulatory interventions, through regulatory impact assessment. Principle 5. Engagement. Regulators should practice and sustain effective and inclusive stakeholder engagement. Principle 6. Coherence. Regulators should align regulations with existing regulations, ensuring consistency and congruence. Then we have Principle 7. Whole of government. Regulators across all levels should cooperate, collaborate, and support regulatory capacity development initiatives. Of course, we can't forget Principle 8, continuous evaluation. Regulators should review and evaluate regulations to determine continued relevance, efficiency, and effectiveness. In Principle 9, competition. Regulators must ensure that regulations are compatible with competition and with principles on trade and investment facilitation on both domestic and international levels. Last but not the least, Principle 10. Risk management. Regulators should undertake risk management in drafting and implementing regulations. Through these 10 principles, we envision an efficient Philippine government that provides world-class service to the Filipino people. Together, we can create that bright future. For more information, you may visit the ARTA website at arta.gov.ph and download the Philippine Good Regulatory Principles.
para maputol ang red tape sa gobyerno mula sa lumang RA 9485. Ito na ang mas malawak na RA 11032. Mapapabilis na ang lahat ng serbisyo ng gobyerno. Ito na ang magpapaasenso sa mahal nating bayan. Ito ang ARTA, Anti-Red Tape Authority.
Pangarap ng batas na ito na maalis na ang red tape at korupsyon upang tuluyan ng mapabilis ang mga proseso ng gobyerno. Upang makamit ito, may dalawang landas na sabay na tatahaki ng ARTA. Nandito ang empowerment at enforcement. Una ay ang empowerment, kung saan bibigyan ng tulong at kapasidad ang mga ahensya ng gobyerno para mas streamline, ma-re-engineer at maiangat nila ang kalidad ng kanilang serbisyo. Tulad ng regulatory impact assessment, kung saan ang mga proposed na proseso ay sinisiguradong may progressive na effect. At ang regulatory management system para patuloy na maging effective, productive at efficient ang proseso ng mga ahensya sa pamamagitan ng pagsigurado na ang lahat ng ating mga regulasyon, batas at polisiya ay dumaan sa masusing pag-aaral. Pangalawa ay ang enforcement, kung saan ang mga ahensya na lalabag sa batas ng ARTA ay papatawan ng naaayon na kaparusahan. Guided by these two pillars, our gift of productivity and efficiency to the people will be just a step away. Approve ka, ARTA! Ano ginagawa mo? Fixing or dealing with fixers to gain advantage is a direct penalty. Wala nang strike, lagot ka agad. Ayaw nyo makinig sa ARTA, ha? Sige, lakad ka na! Dahil dyan, ito ang mga maaaring ipataw sa iyo. Dismissal from service, disqualification from holding public office, forfeiture of retirement benefits, imprisonment of 1 to 6 years, fine of 500,000 to 2 million pesos. That's what you get when you let the greed win. Remember, ARTA is always watching. So don't you dare, no to fixer.
Ano ang batas kung walang kaparusahan? Hahayaan na lang ba ang mga pasaway? Sinisigurado ng ARTA, kasama ng Civil Service Commission at Office of the Ombudsman, na ang lahat ng government agencies ay susunod sa bagong batas. The Ease of Doing Business and Efficient Government Service Delivery Act of 2018. Ang mga sumusunod ay pinagbabawal. Bawal ang pagtanggi sa aplikasyon nang walang sapat na dahilan. Bawal ang pagdagdag ng requirements o bayad na higit pa sa nakasaad sa Citizens Charter. Bawal ang di pagbibigay ng abiso bago tanggihan ang application. Bawal ang di pag-aasikaso ng request sa prescribed processing time. At lalong-lalo na, bawal ang pakikipagsabwatan sa mga fixers. Sa first offense, may nakapataw na suspensyon. Sa second offense, matatanggal sa serbisyo at wala pang retirement benefits. Mamumutahan pa ng 500,000 to 2 million pesos. At makukulong hanggang 6 na taon. Kaya huwag kalimutan, alamin at sundin ang batas.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, welcome to the Anti-Red Tape Authority located here in Quezon City. And in today's event, the Office of the Deputy Director General for Legal will be leading the demonstration of its two newest complaints platforms. Number one, the Citizen Services Application, and number two, the e-ARTA Complaints Management System. Also happening today is the signing of the Deed of Donation for the e-ARTA Complaints Management System. I am Ria Fernandez Obina, the Communications Head of the Anti-Red Tape Authority, your host for this event. Everyone, please rise for the invocation to be led by Director Melanie A. Salvadora Asperin, the Director for Investigation and Enforcement and Litigation Office and Legal and Public Assistance Office.
Let us put ourselves in the holy presence of God. Dear Lord, we humbly gather here today in your most holy presence to serve you and your people. We thank you for the experts who are here with us today to help us in improving government services. We thank you for the spirit of cooperation which you have bestowed upon the teams who develop the systems that we are launching today, and upon each agency and stakeholder who continue to support us in our mission to eradicate red tape. Please continue to bless us with knowledge, wisdom, and drive to continuously serve you and our countrymen. Amen.
Please remain standing for the singing of the Philippine National Anthem.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Kayang magiliw, telas ng sinakanan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, kuya ka ng magiting, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisingil, sa nagatang tutok sa simoy at sa langit ng pagaw, ay hinatang tulad, awit sa pagkayang minamahal. Ang isang ng matawad mo'y tagumpay na nag-iingin, ang bituin at araw niya kailan ang hindi magtitingin. Luman ang araw ng walang pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang hindi kaya ng pagkay mga amin, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
You may now take your seats. Once again, good morning everyone. Magandang araw po sa ating lahat. It's good to be back kahit maliit lang ang ating space ngayon, no? To all our physical attendees, kindly please greet your seatmates a good morning. Yung mga katabi po natin. Good morning everyone. Of course sa Zoom, wave tayo ng hands dyan, palakpak, heart, and everything else that we can use para maging interactive ang araw na ito. To our esteemed guests from the University of the Philippines Public Administration Research and Extension Services Foundation Inc. Regulatory Support Program for National Development or the UP-PAF respondent. Of course, Multi-Seas Corporation, maraming salamat po for gracing this event with your presence. Also, we thank our colleagues from public service, our fellow ARTA employees, officials, partners as well from the private sectors, and of course, our media friends who are tuning in online as we are being streamed live on our Facebook and YouTube page, the Anti-Red Tape Authority. We can also be seen live right now on various social media pages of the Presidential Communications Operations Office or PCOO, made possible by the Radio Television Malacanang or RTVM. And in line with this, we'd like to invite you to follow our various social media platforms para po konektado kayo sa lahat ng mga nangyayari sa otoridad. Meron po kaming website, email, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and even Instagram. And you may also join our growing Viber community, the official e-ARTA community. Just scan this QR code to receive the latest updates, news, and announcements straight from the authority. As I mentioned earlier, we will be witnessing today the interactive demonstration of at least two latest initiatives of the Office of the Deputy Director General for Legal to address backlog. So number one is the Citizen Services Act, and number two is the e-ARTA Complaints Management System. There will be a ceremonial signing as well of the deed of donation between ARTA and Multi-Sys Corporation. Before we continue, gusto ko lang po kilalanin ang presensya ng ating mga opisyal sa otoridad, starting with the Chief of Staff and Deputy Director General for Administration, Finance and Special Programs, Undersecretary Carlos F. Quita. Let's give him a warm round of applause. Of course, later, we will be joined by our Undersecretary for Operations, Undersecretary Ernesto V. Perez, as well as our Deputy Director General for Legal, the host of this event, Undersecretary Eduardo V. Bringas. In a few minutes, our Director General, Secretary Jeremiah B. Bellica, will also be here in the ODGAF conference room. We also have our Director for Legal, Director Melanie Salvadora Asperin. Ma'am. And from the Multi-Sys Corporation, we have Attorney Kathleen B. Mila, the Chief Operating Officer and Chief Legal Officer. Ma'am, good morning. Mr. Aaron Thomas Mendoza. Hello, sir. And of course, some of their workers or colleagues from the Multi-Sys Corporation. And from the UP PAF Respond, we also have Mr. Johan Lim. Hi, sir. Good morning. And to kick off this morning's program, I would like to call on here in front our Chief of Staff and Deputy Director General for Administration, Finance and Special Programs, Yusek Carlos F. Quita, to deliver the welcome remarks.
Thank you, Ria. Good morning, everyone. I would just like to recognize DDG Doy Bringas, Director Mimi Spring, of course, our very generous partner in the private sector, Mr. David Almirod, duly represented here by Attorney Kathleen B. Mila, the CEO, COO, and the Chief Legal Officer of Multi-Sys. Also, Ms. Laika Pilonio. We've been meeting several times, no? Especially during the deed of donation in preparation for that, the Ghost Markup. And also, Mr. Aaron Thomas Mendoza, the Business Development Officer of Multi-Sys, and from another partner from UP PAP Respond, Mr. Johan Lim. We are indeed very lucky. The ARTA as an organization is very lucky to have a very active and generous partner. Multi-Sys had been very cooperative with us. We have been working together since last year, early last year. In fact, we started the project, of course, again, donated by Multi-Sys, the Go Smart app. And the execution of the deed of donation was consummated last October. Actually, mas mabilis sana yun. No? Nagkataon lang may mga intervening events and we are forced to delay it. And but eventually, Sir David eventually donated the Go Smart app. And for this morning, we are again here to witness and to effect the deed of donation for the e-ARTA. And there will be I believe, a demonstration later. And also we would like to thank the UP Papris Fund, duly represented here by Mr. Johan Lim, for also donating to us another application, yung CSA, Customer Services there, Client Services application. And thank you for that. And this will eventually, the two applications which will be demonstrated later in a few minutes from now, will surely be a big boost in our capacity building. This is how we will reach more and extend more our arms in providing our services to our clients. Also by empowering the different national government agencies, including the local government units. And also we can use this in our enforcement functions. So again, welcome to this signing ceremony and demonstration of these two applications. And thank you once again. And we hope to continuously sustain our cooperation for the benefit of our government and the people. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Undersecretary Carlos F. Quita, Artist Chief of Staff and Deputy Director General for Administration, Finance, and Special Programs. Now, I know some of you, especially those who are joining us via Zoom from other sectors of society, are curious about the Citizen Services Application and e-ARTA Complaints Management System. We have prepared short AVPs to give you some information about these two platforms. Let's start with the e-ARTA Complaints Management System. Please watch this. This will be uploaded on ARTA's YouTube page or channel para po dun sa mga kababayan natin who want to have a refresher on how to use this e-ARTA Complaints Management System once we formally roll this out to the public. Again, we also have another platform, which is the Citizen Services Application, and we have prepared a short AVP about this. Please watch this.
Sa video na ito, makikita ang transaksyon ng fixer ng driver's license. Sa hiwalay namang video na ito, inabutan na umano ng cut-off si nanay na kukuha ng death certificate.
Cut-off na kuya? Ano po? Galing pa ho kayong Bulacan, Day?
Natigil naman sa operasyon ang opisinang ito ng gobyerno dahil lunch break muna. Habang sa kuhang ito, bilad sa araw at usok ang mga nag-aasikaso ng kanilang passport. Lahat ng ito naaksyonan on the spot ng Anti-Red Tape Authority. Pero para sa mas mabilis na pagtugon sa mga reklamo ng red tape, Bumuo ang ARTA sa tulong ng UP TAF Respond ng ARTA Citizen Services App. Gamit ang app na ito sa smartphone, mababawasan na ang alinlangan ng publiko na isumbong ang mga mababagal at matatagal umaksyong ahensya ng gobyerno. I-click lang ang File a Complaint pagkatapos hanapin sa mga pagpipilian ang inirereklamong tanggapan. Lalabas ang listahang ito para i-check kung alin sa mga ipinagbabawal ng RA 11032 ang ginawa ng inirereklamong tanggapan. Sa sunod na pahina, ilalagay ang iba pang detalye ng reklamo. Pero dapat may pinanghahawakang ebidensya na i-upload sa app. Pagtapos na, pindutin ang submit button. At meron ng ticket number. Makakakuha ng update mula sa ARTA galing mismo sa app via video call. Nakaabang naman ang mga complaints officer at abogado ng ARTA sa ARTA dashboard kung saan papasok ang mga reklamong idinaan sa ARTA Citizen Services app. Ganon lang kasimple. Malaking bagay ito dahil bukod sa convenient para sa taong bayan, mabilis at matipid pa ang pagresolba ng pamahalaan sa mga sumbong tungkol sa red tape. Available na for download sa Android ang ARTA Citizen Services app.
Yan, there you have it. No? Tunay nga naman na base sa tema natin ngayong araw, i-reklamo mo sagot ng ARTA. So gamit lang po itong mga platapormang ito. Once it's publicly available, ay mabilis na po ang paghahatid ng serbisyo ng ARTA. Mas mabilis na po ang paghahatid ng serbisyo ng ARTA sa ating mga kababayan nakakaranas ng red tape. I guess, Sir Johan, this is also available on iOS right now or Android pa rin? Alright, so malapit na po. So at this moment, we would like to invite here in front the Deputy Director General for Legal, Yusek Eduardo V. Bringas, the champion of these projects, to give an introduction to ARTA's automation initiatives for its legal office. Sir?
I usually ask my staff to prepare a speech for me not to forget to greet those who are here, mga special guests natin. Because on behalf of our very energetic and young Secretary, Attorney Jeremiah Balica, our Undersecretary for Operations, Ernesto Perez, and Deputy Director General for Operations, and Undersecretary Brigadier General Carlos F. Kita, Deputy Director General for Administration and Finance, and also our Chief of Staff, Attorney Melanie A. Salvador Aspirin. Ang gamot namin parati sa sakit ng ulo. No? And of course, our representatives from our donors, Attorney Kathleen B. Mila, COO and Chief Legal Officer, and Representation Officer David Almiral of ODCs, and also Sir Johan Lim, of UPAP Respond, representation also of Dr. Gilbert Ilianto, and all other guests here, Cesar Aaron and Laika, and those who are now in our Zoom conference. Good morning. Now I have to disregard this and just say that ARTA is in the forefront of digital transformation. No? So to distinguish, yung digitization is actually yung pag-change ng documents, for example, from analog to machine-readable documents. Yung digitalization, which is part ng ginagawa natin ngayon, is actually yung pag-ayos ng processes. No? And in digital transformation is actually yan yung ang focus natin is doon sa client, no? Yung pag-serve natin sa client para sila yung mas madaling maservisyuhan. As distinguished sa digitalization, which is internal sa office natin, mas madaling proseso, no? So basically, ang digital transformation, ang mandate ng ARTA. That is why when the President said sa kanyang State of Nation address, no, that I want all government services to be done at the comfort of the homes of the Filipino people, hindi po kami nag-atubiling gawin ito. Bagamat, wala pong nakalaan na budget. At by God's grace, sa tulong ng ating mga private sector, na pinapamahalang multisis at ating public fund, nakagawa po ng 2 applications. Ang CSA po is application niya na i-download, para mag-file kayo ng complaint. Ang CMS naman po is web-based. Ang difference po sa dalawa is that kasi po nung kami nag-interview, part po kasi ng aming mandate, na pinapatupad naman ni CMS ng operations is yung regulatory impact assessment. We try to communicate with the stakeholders in this regard, yung pong mga agencies na will be taking part, So nung kami nakipag-communicate sa kanila, kanilang concern, paano pag nadagsan na kami ng kaso, So ang dami mga sasabi ka doon. So sabi ko, dalawa po kasi ang function ng ARTA. It is empowerment and enforcement. The reason why we have come up with the empowerment function is that yung i-reform muna namin sa inyong card or sa inyong legal and to resolve from among yourselves yung case. But kung ayaw niyo po yun, gusto niyo yung diretsong kasuhan na, ano dyan po ang CSA. So yun po yung magkaiba ng So basically, ito po hindi po nagka-conflict, kundi nagtutulungan po yung 2 applications na to. So pag seryosohan lang, gusto ng diretsuhan ng kaso, hanggang po ang CSA, pag gusto nang dumaan muna sa empowerment function, at yung agency muna, andyan po ang CMS. At again, marami po salamat sa ating mga donors po, ang multi-series as represented here by si Attorney Kathleen Mila, and also ang UPAF Respond presented by Sir Johan Lim. Again, thank you very much and good morning.
Thank you so much, Deputy Director General for Legal, Undersecretary Eduardo V. Bringas. I am and of course, our Director General, Secretary Jeremiah B. Bellica. Okay, just to have a quick background, ARTA has launched the Citizen Services App, or CSA, last October 2021. And as presented earlier, and as mentioned by Yusek Doy, kung gusto niyo po ng diretsong kasuhan na, CSA to. And another stark or unique feature of the CSA is this is a mobile-based application. So it's really at the palm of your hands, anywhere, anytime. While the e-ARTA complaints management system is an innovative and inclusive web-based system of ARTA, both allowing ordinary citizens to file concerns and even complaints before the authority. Pero paano po ba gumagana ang 2 sistemang ito? To show us the mechanism of the CSA, may I call on Mr. Johan Lim from the UP Respond for the interactive demonstration.
I think we'll share our screen muna. So all right, so I think we'll go over very quickly, I think, how to establish the functions of this application. I started screen sharing, I think. Let me just check. Is it sharing? Okay, excuses for the technical difficulties. The internet suddenly dropped out on my phone. We're trying to reconnect here. So while we're reconnecting, can anyone actually like do a role play and install the CSA application from Google Play? So it's already there. You can install it, and let's actually do a live demo. So somebody can install and register and then complain, or like file a complaint rather. While we show the application here. So there you go. So the application itself is made of three major components. So we'll go through here at the there's two major components here. I'm actually like trying to scroll my screen. Hopefully it scrolls up very quickly. So it has a dashboard component that monitors KPIs and all of the complaints, the type of complaints that come into the system from filed against any of the LGUs, departments, agencies that the citizens have complaints against. And it also has a mobile application to capture the complaints from the field. Now, this mobile application is currently available on Google Play, as you can see. And there's also a back office side of this, which enables ARTA individuals or users of ARTA, lawyers, public assistance division, staff, to be able to see all of the various complaints across different LGUs and agencies. These dashboards are interactive, basically real-time, enables the reporting from anywhere that has internet connection that people can log into. There's various sub-dashboards here that the ARTA users and departments can use. And for the most part, all of these KPIs, reports, and charts are accumulated. The data is accumulated in real time as citizens report complaints. Now, the meat of the application is actually the mobile app and the complaints management system, which we will show to you in real time in a while. So as people are starting to download the app here, maybe we can do a couple of complaints, file a few sample complaints, and then we will look at those complaints in the admin system. So the application you see here, again, is available on Google Play already. You can register, sign up, and start filing a complaint. So the various methods that we were showing here, we have the e-complaints system by Multisys. We have the mobile complaints capturing system, the CSA from our team. it basically follows this process. So wait for the screen to show up here. So what we're mimicking with this application is the flow on the left. So it enables complainants to register, fill up the complaint form, upload evidence, and basically complete their filing of a complaint. And then after that, an administrator in the back office, usually a public assistance division staff, takes a look at the complaint and reviews it. So basically checks the veracity of the evidence, the information, and then assigns it to whatever department or agency that needs to be assigned to. So after a complaint is filed, there's two channels or two activities that happens. So the complainant itself is given a ticket number. Scroll back to that ticket number and a chance to be able to open a Zoom window or a Zoom link if they want to actually proceed to do the oath taking or speak to a live PAD officer or Public Assistance Division officer. They can also click on the Viber link so that they can chat with any of the folks that are watching the e-ARTA Viber group chat. Now, that being said, after that's done, the monitoring and management of the complaints is done on the back office system. And this is probably where we can sit and wait for somebody in the audience to file a complaint. So, and this is a short demo, so we will just probably do one complaint. Has anyone installed the application already? Gio? Perfect. Okay, great. Let's stay on your screen for now, and let's go into the application itself, the actual application. So this is the live application. We're switching over the screen. A second. So this is the live application right now. I am logged in as an administrator, and the typical things that I would look at are the complaints dashboard, the actual dashboard of the reports and all of the metrics activities that happen in the system. There's also a calendar here that helps the e-ARTA administrators or the e-ARTA staff to be able to manage activities like, do they need to call an agency? Do they need to meet with an LGU personnel? Those activities that are related to a complaint is also managed in the calendar system. And then there's also a group chat, or basically a internal group chat for e-ARTA staff to be able to exchange information on. Now, Gio, which agency are you filing against? Example. Oh, sorry? LTO. Okay. LTOs. Right. So we have LTO, I think here. As a global administrator, I can see all of the agencies in my dashboard. So I'm a member, or I can actually look at tickets from DFA, DNR, all of the agencies enrolled here. It takes just a few minutes to register a new agency, to create a new LGU entry, and they will see that, or the e-ARTA administrators can see that in the dashboard. We have, let's scroll down to LTO here. So LTO, we have 0 tickets here. The logos actually should be appearing. So we have 0 tickets as of now. We'll wait for Gio to submit his ticket, and we'll take a look at his complaint. Let us know, Gio, if you've already completed the submission. You don't need to put in a file or a photo if you don't have one. And then there's also for okay, somebody filed a complaint for DNR. Let's take a look at that. Janelle Picoro, very good. Thank you. That's somebody from the audience. So we have 7 unassigned tickets here in DNR. Let's take a look at those queues. So we're going into the DNR ticket queue. taking a while to load on my phone. Let's take a look. We're hoping that the internet connection in ARTA is going to be way faster than my phone. So 7 unassigned tickets. Let's take a look at those tickets here. So you guys is loading. I'm loading a couple of different things here. So there you go. So we're looking at the DNR queue here. Should be refreshing in a second. Showing up on my screen. So it'll show up here in a while. Pardon me, Zoom is actually like taking a while to load. I actually am looking at the DNR screen already. There you go. So we have somebody that filed a complaint, and this is new. I guess this is the Junel Picoro guy that we saw in chat earlier. So he filed a complaint. It is in the new category. We have several stages here for complaints that you can see. Let's take a look at Mr. Junel's complaint. So we click that, and we're going to go into the details of that complaint. So he is ticket number 45 or complaint number 45. And if he's waiting on his phone right now, and if he has Zoom installed on his phone, we can actually trigger a Zoom call so that he can walk in or virtually walk into the window and talk to a public assistance division officer. Just wait for it to load. Okay, there you go. So here is the detail of his complaint. So if he had actually put in like a complete detail of his complaint, we would see it here on the header. He's filing against this LGU and failure to set up the most current citizens charter is the nature of his complaint. We don't see all of the details here because I am not supposed to be a member of the Public Assistance Division. So there's some anonymity or level of anonymity here. There are no activities that have been logged against this ticket. So there's no resolution tracking entries yet. Switch that. And if we wanted to meet with this person, there's actually 3 windows where we have Zoom meeting links that are ready here. So if that person actually wanted to speak with us, go to a virtual window, they can click on that link, and that sends us an alert on this application. So basically, in a nutshell, that's how it works. Hopefully, that gives you a bit of a overview. And then all of the dashboards, the reports are then collated into a set of interactive dashboards here for the Director General, DDG for Operations, and other subunits of ARTA. Wait for this to load. So yeah, I think that's where we're at right now on the application. I hope that gave you a really good idea of what the application does or can do for the authority. Go back to the dashboard here.
Thank you so much, Sir Johan from UPPAF Response. To all our Zoom participants, it took a while for Mr. Johan to present on your screens what is being shown in his laptop screen because of the Zoom itself and because of his internet connection. But I guess he will be connected to the ARTA Wi-Fi at any moment right now. Anyway, thank you so much. Once again, that was Mr. Johan Lim from the UPPAF Respond who just made or presented the Citizen Services application and led the interactive demonstration of the said application. Now we move to the another platform or complaints platform of the ARTA Legal, which is the e-ARTA Complaints Management System or CMS. And we have Mr. Aaron Thomas Mendoza from the Multi-Seas Corporation to do the interactive demonstration. Sir?
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Just share my screen. Access. Permission. Permission here. So good afternoon, everyone. So I'll be presenting to you the e-ARTA Complaints Management System. So as DG Doy said, it's web-based, although it's mobile responsive. So either you can use your phone if it has internet. So this is the homepage for the what do you call this? The e-ARTA Complaints Management System. So it has 3 portals: one for the citizens, one for the agencies, and one for the one for ARTA, who will act as a super admin of the platform. So as you can see here, the citizens has two options on how they can file their complaint. Either they use a platform or they dial the number listed above, below the file complaint. So once they dial in the number, an ARTA agent will then answer them and file their complaint. So let's just so first, when filing a complaint, the citizen is required to read the terms of service and data privacy statement. He or she could view it in either English or Tagalog. The citizen also has the option to be anonymous, so they can hide their identity if they click the button here. So I would just want to test the complaint. So okay. So when filing the complaint, the citizen has to slow down. Okay. So in filing a complaint, these are the different information that the system requires. So the mobile number, the first name, the last name, gender, and email address. So let me just populate this. Director Region. Start there. And then the citizens will be able to choose which sector they're filing a complaint against. So either national government or LGUs. So for the test, I'll choose NGA and then BAR. And then these are the nature of complaints. So these are the options on which the citizen will be able to choose which complaint they're trying to file. So let's see. The citizens will be also able to upload the evidences they have. It can either be images or it can be a video. So yeah. So once by checking the checkbox, the citizen then agrees to accept the e-ARTA terms of service and data privacy statement. Then just hit continue. Okay. So it's gonna be showing a summary once you hit the continue button. So it's gonna show you the summary of your complaint and then send my complaint. And then afterwards, it's gonna be sending an SMS notification to your phone. So let me just. Okay. And then the citizens can either what do you call this? Take a picture of this, but then again, it's going to be sending an SMS containing the items you see here, the ARTA ticket number, as well as the status. So you'll be using the ticket number later on when you want to check on the status of your ticket. So that's just done. You can check the status of your ticket under the track ticket button here. So it's going to be showing the ticket information as well as the history. So every time the agency or ARTA moves your ticket, it's going to be showing in the history box below there. Okay. For the admin dashboard, so the users here will be ARTA and the complaint agency. I'm going to be showing to you first the what do you call this, the complaint agency. So the home. So the dashboard, this is the homepage for the complaint agencies. So the dashboard shows the total complaints, the nature of complaints, and the total complainants. So this is clickable. So if they just want to click the total complainants, they're going to immediately be reverted to the complaints. No problem, sir. Okay. So yeah, let me just continue. So what you're seeing again is the dashboard for the complaint agency. So on the left side, we have the different modules. So we have the dashboard, the nature of complaints, and the complainants. So under the complainants, you'll be able to see all the status of the ticket. So it's going to be showing all the statistics of the different tickets. And you can also click the actual ticket itself for the agencies to move the ticket, the ticket status, as well as write what do you call this, remarks for ARTA later on. Okay. So this is it for the agency's dashboard. So let me just go to the super admin for ARTA. Okay. So what you're seeing now is the dashboard for ARTA, for the super admin. So as you can see on the left side, we have all these modules for the complainants, agencies, complaints, nature of complaints. So everything you see on the agencies will be then directed to ARTA. So for the visibility of the different tickets, as well as what status they're in already. I mean, what under, if it's already being assessed or it's already being handled by the handling lawyer or assistant lawyer. So again, the icons you see here are clickable, so you can click it to just go to the complaints. So these are the different complainants we have. Then for the agencies, so ARTA has the capability to search which agencies they want to check on. So let's say for BAR, and then immediately it's going to be posting all the tickets that are filed under BIR. And then ARTA can also click each and one to see what status they're in. So if it's submitted to ARTA, the ARTA can also update the ticket status. So if it's for ongoing assessment, for litigation, and so on. Okay. And then we also have the total complaints. I think yeah, I think that's it.
Thank you so much, Mr. Aaron Thomas Mendoza from the Multi-Sis Corporation for doing the interactive demonstration of the e-ARTA complaints management system. Meron lang pong tanong na pinost po dito sa ating chat box kanina. This is directed to Mr. Johan Lim, UP PAF Respond from Taguig City, Henry Vega. Medyo matagal mag-loading, sir. Paano kaya if mapuno na ng complaints? Kakayanin po kaya ng system? Sir, would you like to give a brief response to that?
Am I audible? So I think what we saw this a few minutes ago was actually my application, my internet connection slowing down. That was largely because I was also streaming Zoom, my screen from my computer. Not the ideal situation. And normally what would happen is, normally what would happen is that the application would be sitting on a server as it is right now, and the complainants wouldn't be feeling anything. They would just be on their mobile apps filing a complaint as if they were uploading a very long post on their Facebook newsfeed. It's that same experience. Now, in terms of handling and scaling millions and millions of records, it actually is built for that. So it can scale, it's speedy, the dashboards are actually pretty quick. It's just a matter of, like, right now, our demo was actually on Zoom, and frankly, not the ideal situation with the internet connection. So yeah, but really good inputs from that citizen in Taguig.
Thank you so much, Sir Johan. Now we move to the delivery of special message and would like to hear, of course, from the driver of the train of reform against red tape, our Director General Secretary Jeremiah B. Benita.
Good morning, everyone. It's again a pleasant day of reform and pushing for innovation in our country. To our partners from the private sector, Sir Johan Lin, palakpakan ho natin si Sir Johan for thank you for being patient through the many months that we've been discussing and testing in all of the systems for the entire team of the UP POF Respond. Of course, our partners from the USAID, wala sila Dr. Henry Basilio, but the entire team. We are grateful to our friends from the company of the Multisis, today being represented by their COO, Attorney Kathleen Mila, and also the Chief Legal Counsel. Palakpakan natin si Attorney Mila. Of course, Ms. Laika Pelonio, who is the head of their e-governance department, and the presenter, our Mr. Aaron Thomas Mendoza, who is the business development officer. Palakpakan mo natin sila. And thank, of course, the president, Mr. David Almirol, who is right now in transit. I think he's on board the plane kanina, nakausap ko sa phone. And we are thankful, although he's not here, to our man of the hour. Finally, we're here, Yusek Eduardo Bringas of the Legal Department. Palakpakan mo natin si Yusek. Hoy, nag-alala ako kanina, sir, nung nadapa ka dun sa... Pero with all of the innovations that your office right now is pushing for, it's really a breath of fresh air, not only for ARTA, but for the entire government bureaucracy and for the people. To our Undersecretary for Operations, Yusek Ernesto Perez, and of course, our Chief of Staff, and Yusek for Administration and Finance, Yusek Carlos Kita, ang nag-iisang general at hindi abogado dito po sa amin. Our Director for Investigation Enforcement Litigation Office and OIC Director for Legal and Public Affairs Division, Attorney Director Melanie A. Salvador Aspirin, ang aspirin na nagpatanggal ng sakit ng ulo ni Yusek Bringas. To all of my friends from the Anti-Red Tape Authority, those who are watching this broadcast through the different social media accounts, pages from the PCOO, from the ARTA page, I want to express my deepest gratitude to the real leader and conductor of the train of reform against red tape and cutting of bureaucracy, our dear President, Mayor Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Marami pong salamat, President, for all of the support that you have given ARTA and for really pushing forth sa reforma po. No? Ang ating Pangulo mismo ang siyang merong idea na magkaroon po ng isang ahensya that would really focus on red tape. And as I would now say that ARTA was actually just like the law that created it, RA 11032, or the Ease of Doing Business and Efficient Government Service Delivery Act. We could actually say sort of a social experiment because it is a first of its kind, where the enforcement and empowerment functions in fighting red tape was combined in one law and is being administered by a single government agency, or at least being led by a single government agency that is directly under and attached to the office of the president. And one of the important ingredient of a mature regulatory management system is having the right institutions that would push for the needed reforms to streamline the bureaucracy. There are actually 4 elements, no? And one of which is having the right institution. Kahit meron kang tamang tools, meron kang tamang policies, at meron kang tamang procedures, kung wala naman pong ahensya o oversight body who would push for it, for the reforms, ay hindi rin ho mangyayari. And with the rate that ARTA is going, with the rate that the government is going in really pushing for the streamlining and even flagging those who would insist on sitting on permits and applications, I could confidently say that in the next 5 years to 10 years, not even 10 years, no? 5 to 7 years po, malaki ho talaga ang makikita po natin as the government, the bureaucracy would improve because we are now capacitating the government agencies, empowering them na sila na ho ang siyang mag-streamline ng kanilang mga serbisyo. The regulatory impact assessment manual is there, and the committees on anti-red tape are already being set up by almost all of the government agencies and even the local government units. You know, one of the real things that we really need to do in order to assure that reform will continue in our country is to change the paradigm and change the culture of how we do things in government. Meron ng kasabihan, do not be conformed in the pattern of this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Even the Holy Book, the Bible says that. It's in changing the mind. In terms of national effort, it means changing the culture of how we do things and how we see things. Having the right information is as equally important as having the right decision. Because your decisions, our decisions, are only based on the information that we get. Kung kaya nga po mahalaga na ang mga teknolohiya in the advent of this technological revolution, it makes all of the informations available. Hindi na ho natin pwedeng sabihin ng mga taong gobyerno o sino man ho sa atin na hindi ko ho kasi alam kasi wala ho kong access sa impormasyon. No, sa batas nga ho, meron hong kasabihan, ignorance of the law excuses no one from compliance therewith. No? No? Ignorancia non. Ano ba yun? Ignorancia lehis. Non-excusa. Diba? Ignorance of the law excuses no one from compliance therewith. But there is no excuse for us any longer to really be isolated and be lacking in the opportunity to access the right kind of information. That is why it is very imperative for us to tap on technologies and innovations, not only to respond to the need of the times today, but to also anticipate, calibrate our actions on what things, what other things and challenges would be arising in the future. Isa ho sa mga bagay na kinakailangan ho natin gawin at matutunan as we change the paradigm of how we do things in government is not only to respond to the current needs, but to project ano ho ba ang mangyayari sa darating na 5, 10 taon, 20 taon, and we begin to plan. No, yan ho yung tinatawag na future thinking. And as we have these kinds of technologies, I do believe that the Philippines is on the right track. And I hope that ARTA will continue to be in the forefront of that innovation. There is a saying that you always need to start small while thinking big. the determination of the quality of an organization or of a person is not in his current status or whatever he has right now. Kung nasaan ka ngayon, mahirap ka ba ngayon, mayaman ka ba ngayon, bata ka ba ngayon, but it's in the vastness, it's in the quality of your dream. Kung ano yung nakikita mo, kaya nga sinasabi, mangangarap ka na lang, libre yan, lakihan mo na at gandahan mo na. Kasi libre ang mangarap. At natatandaan ko ang lagi mo sa amin sinasabi ng aming magulang, ang tao mahirap ay hindi yung taong walang pera, pero yung taong walang pangarap. Because without vision, the people will certainly perish. What we are now launching through the e-ARTA complaints management system and also the citizens service application is indeed a futuristic and a step ahead on what we anticipate that would come to ARTA, go to ARTA. And not only that, we are setting this up to be the entry point for all of government agencies to be coordinated. Hindi lamang po ARTA ang ating pinagsasabihan dito, but because of the e-ARTA complaints management system, we can now give the government agencies a chance to inform them about what's really happening on the ground. Papasok po sa amin yan, pero hindi pa po yan ating i-consider na complaints. That is an e-concerns. Ito po yung concerns. So, iba po kasi yung concerns sa complaint. Pag sinabi ho natin complaint, ibig sabihin meron na hong nagkaso at maaari ho kayong ma-elevate ito into an administrative or even criminal if this is for the second time. But what we're doing here is we're giving the agencies through their committees on anti-red tape a chance. And doon ho sa mga pilot run na ginawa po nila USEC Bringas, the results actually are very, very encouraging. I remember one time na I asked him, kamusta sir yung ating ginagawang referral system? Maganda. Bakit? Because meron isang ahensya, re-refer ho ng ARTA doon sa committee ng anti-red tape nila, specific case, isa lamang, pero nasilip po nung committee ng anti-red tape na may 2,000 similar cases were immediately disposed. Palakpakan naman po natin. And it's, sabi ko, pwede pala yun. Kailangan lang talaga nila malaman. And this is what we anticipate to happen, with other government agencies. Now, also, particularly very important is to give people a chance to actually not only post their concerns, but also to file their complaints. At ito po, dito ho papasok ang ating citizen service application. Because meron ho talagang mga pagkakataon na kahit anong mabuting usapan, kinakailangan mo talagang to crack the whip, to enforce the law in order for some people in government who still is caught up with a different old paradigm for them to understand na hindi na pwede ang dati mong pamamaraan at sistema. Tama po ba? And it's incumbent upon us, not only in ARTA, but it's incumbent upon the people to bring this to the authorities and tell them we refuse to be victimized by your, magic spell. We refuse to give grease money. We refuse to align with the old way of thinking and doing things. And with the cell phones, hawak-hawak mo na, eventually maglalagay po tayo ng mga QR code sa lahat po ng mga government offices. malalaman ho natin that indeed power is in the hands of the people. This is what you call democratizing governance. It's very important for us to understand that what shapes public policy is public discourse. Ano pa? Kapag tayo'y nakakapagsalita, nababasa mo sa internet, ang mga minsan, kita mo si tita, si lola, political scientist na rin. Di ba po? Babagayan. Kasama ho yun. That's what they call discourse. Ano po? Akala mo marites lang. Pero hindi pala. No? Political scientist na rin. Pero makikita may point din naman pala. Whenever they go to us, raise their concerns, raise their complaints, it's an opportunity for us to actually correct ourselves and even predict, come up with the data, i-predict ho natin ano ba ang kadalasan na nangyayari, ano ba ang malaking problema sa mga government agencies, sinong government agencies ang madaming problema, ano ang kanilang mga nature ng kanilang concerns, ano ang nature ng kanilang mga complaints, and everything will be tracked and everything will be measured so as to give the people and our leaders in the next administration and the administrations to come the proper tools to come up with the right decision. Kaya ho mahalaga ang atin hong nilulunsad ngayon. And we are also looking at combining what we have right now in e-ARTA dito po sa ating online citizen service application, complaints management system, or concerns management system with the other complaints and concerns related agencies. Nakausap po namin kamakailan lamang ang civil service through their very able and new chairman, Chairman Nograles. By the way, congratulations and well-deserved. Yun na rin po ang kanila pong goal, direction. So sabi ko, nakikita po natin, after po na to, we would be moving towards harmonizing everything para ma-distillize at maiayos po lahat. Para ang taong bayan ay hindi ho nahihirapan kasi hindi na nagsa-silo system ang mga government offices. Hindi mo naiisipin, ano ko ba ito dadalhin? Dadalhin ko ba ito kay e-ARTA? Dadalhin ko ba ito kay civil service? Dadalhin ko ba ito kay 888? Dadalhin ko ba ito kay PACC? Because once na ito po'y maiayos po talaga lahat, napakadali po natin hong maitutulak para ho sa convenience ng mga taong bayan. And I think I've said enough, but let me just end with this. Hindi ho kaya ng gobyerno lamang labanan ang red tape. Kinakailangan ho ng taong bayan. And I was asked, paano mo masusustain? Paano natin ma-ensure na ang mga ginagawa ng ating administrasyon ay magpapatuloy sa susunod na administrations in the many years to come? The answer actually is, it's really not only just putting things as a policy, but it's when the people will continually hold the government accountable to its battle against red tape. Kasi bandang huli po talaga, kami po talaga ay lingkod lamang ng bayan in its truest sense. Not in its altruistic sense, legally speaking, constitutionally speaking. So, kayo po ang talagang magpapatuloy ng ating laban. Hanggat pinapaalala po natin sa lahat mo ng ahensya, dapat may citizens charter ka. Dapat hanggat pinapaalala natin sa lahat ng mga ahensya, huwag pong daragdagan ang kinakailangan. Dapat nag-streamline ka. Dapat pinapaalala natin sa e-ARTA, hoy e-ARTA, tuloy nyo yan. Huwag kayong tutulog-tulog. We will be sure that the reforms that every Filipino deserves will really push through. And as I said kanina, I could really see with the rate that we're going in the next 5 years, I hope that we will come to the maturity of our regulatory management system. Again, we thank our private sector friends and partners, UP Puff Respond. Marami pong salamat for the many assistance that you have given ARTA. Development of the different manuals, now coming up with the Citizen Service App. Marami pong salamat. To our friends from the Multisys Corporation, we thank you. And for everyone who will be using the systems, gamitin po ninyo ito dahil ang ARTA po ay para sa inyo. And again, the train of reform against red tape is not only in the move, but it has gained a lot of momentum, and it's now the people's reform train. And anyone who would stand against this people's reform train would simply be run over. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.
Thank you so much, Secretary Jeremiah B. Belica. Your words never fail to move the audience wherever, whatever event we are in. Again, thank you so much, Secretary Jeremiah B. Belica, the Director General of the Anti-Red Tape Authority. And to formalize the donation of the Multisys Corporation, of course, while our Secretary is heading to his chair, of course, we will be witnessing the ceremonial signing of the deed of donation between the Anti-Red Tape Authority and the Multisys Corporation. Our team is just adjusting the camera to the signing table. The signatories for the deed of donation will be from the ARTA. It's going to be the Deputy Director General for Legal under Secretary Eduardo V. Bringas. His counterpart on his level at the Multisys Corporation is Attorney Kathleen B. Mila, the COO and Chief Legal Officer of the said company. And of course, standing in between them is the Secretary of the Anti-Red Tape Authority, as witness Secretary Jeremiah B. Belica. To all our guests attending this event physically or virtually, our ARTA officials and of course ARTA and Multisys officials are now signing the deed of donation for the e-ARTA Complaints Management System. What is good about the e-ARTA Complaints Management System is it's not only a web-based platform, but also accessible using your mobile phones. So any concern, or if you think it's something that can be elevated as a complaint, you can lodge it using this e-ARTA Complaints Management System. We will be having a follow-up event or news release as to when will be the official rollout of this new ARTA legal project be available to the public. Again, to all who have just tuned in, our officials from ARTA and Multisys Corporation are signing the deed of donation of the Multisys Corporation. This is for the turnover of the e-ARTA Complaints Management System. It was the Multisys Corporation who developed this system for ARTA at no cost at all. So thank you so much, Multisys Corporation. I guess we are done with the signing of the deed of donation at this juncture. May we request our officials, guests from Multisys, and of course from UP Path Respond to please give your biggest smile while presenting the signed document in front of the camera. Our photographers from both parties, will be facilitating the photo opportunity. All right, in 3, 2, 1, smile. We also invite our Zoom guests to open your videos. Miss Elaine Diaz will facilitate the photo opportunity right there. Principals, can you please stay for a bit dyan po sa framing ninyo? We'll have a picture taking with our Zoom guests. Miss Elaine?
Hello,
Everybody,
Miss
can you
Ria.
please open your videos?
Please open your videos.
This is a hybrid event. While we are gathered here physically at the ODGAF conference room, we also have participants via Zoom. Go ahead, Miss Elaine.
We have 2 frames. I'll start with the first one. Can you hold your smiles? 1, 2, 3. Next
So
frame.
officials, please smile. We have camera.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. That's it. Thank you.
One more, Elaine. One more.
One more.
Yes, ARTA officials, kindly please smile.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Smile. The other frame. 1, 2, 3. Smile. All right. Thank you, Miss Ria.
Maraming salamat, Elaine Diaz. And there you have it, the deed of donation of the ARTA and Multi-Seas Corporation for the e-ARTA Complaints Management System has been formally signed. Maraming salamat po, Multi-Seas Corporation. This is really a big help to the authority in its fight against red tape. So now, of course, we have heard the special message of the Secretary. We would also want to hear a few words from the Multi-Seas Corporation from Attorney Kathleen Dinila. Ma'am, can you please go here in front?
Thank you so much po. Mr. Johan Lim, Aaron Thomas, Laika, ang ating pong Director for Investigation and Enforcement and Litigation Officer, si Director Melanie Salvadora Aspirin, ang aspirin po ng ARTA. Of course, ang ating pong Chief of Staff, Deputy Director General for Admin and Finance, Undersecretary Carlos F. Quita, sir. Deputy Director General for Operations, Undersecretary Ernesto V. Perez. Ang ating napakagwapong Deputy Director General for Legal, Undersecretary Eduardo B. Brigas. And of course po, ang napaka-passionate and energetic po na ating ARTA Director General Secretary Jeremiah Beltica. Good morning po. On behalf of Mr. David Almirol, our President and CEO, and Multi-Seas Technologies Corporation, we want to thank you for inviting us here and for giving us the opportunity po para makapag-serve not just for the government but for the people. In fact, meron po akong prepare na short speech. However, upon hearing po yung message kanina ni Secretary Belhica, I was really stunned because not just of how he delivered his message to us, but the substance. Naramdaman ko po talaga yung sincere dedication po ng ating Director General para po sa kanilang task, ang nabinigay po sa kanila. para matulungan po tayong lahat. Before, when I heard yung na-create po ang ARTA, ang una ko pong naisip, dapat matatapang tong mga to. Kasi sabi ko, maraming maaapektuhan sa mga gagawin nilang serbisyo. At kapag medyo mahina po ang loob ng mga taong humahawak po sa ARTA, hindi po nila mai-implement ng mabuti yung service na dapat para sa mga tao. And I'm also amazed na when I met them, hindi lang po sila mga servants na, just saying na ito yung dapat namin gawin. But even behind the stage, when I talk to them, I could feel their passion doon sa mga ginagawa nila. And they're really sincere doon sa mga plans kung paano po nila mai-implement ng mabuti itong ease of doing business po sa ating lipunan. Well, I would say na they are really walking the talk. And if, for lack of a better word, yung passion po and principle na nakikita ko po sa ARTA, I would say na para siyang religion. Kasi nararamdaman ko po na they are not just here to, let's say, parang ministerial. No way, I could not feel na parang ministerial lang yung ginagawa nila, but I could feel na totoo po yung dedication nila sa ginagawa nila para sa atin. And we are really thankful for that, sirs. So with the implementation po of the e-ARTA Complaints Management Service, or for yung technical term nga po sabi ni Director General Belhica, it should be an e-concerns management system, sir. Matutulungan po tayong lahat ng Pilipino na makapag-file ng mga concerns nila, not just in Metro Manila, but all over the Philippines. And I'm really happy that ARTA is open to digital transformation. I always see po yung comments ni Yusek Bringas sa ating deed of donation. Lagi niya pong ini-emphasize doon, we are into digital transformation. So talagang masaya po ako kasi at his very young age, open po siya dito. Yes, really. I'm really happy po na ganun. Because they are open to digitalization, and because of that, mas madali po nating mai-implement yung mga dapat na gawin para maiwasan po natin ang red tape. At kami po sa Multisis, hanggat andito po kami, we are willing to help, we are willing to assist, anything about digitalization, kung ano po yung maitutulong namin, we are here to assist, to maintain, and to provide everything that we can, not just part of our social responsibility, but because we have the same drive in implementing this anti-red tape and ease of doing business in the Philippines. Thank you so much po.
Thank you so much, Attorney Kathleen Binila, the COO and Chief Legal Officer of Multisis. Naririnig ko yung dalawang Yusek natin, si Yusek Kita at si Yusek Perez. Parang meron silang resistance na hindi sila. Of course, gwapo po ang lahat ng mga opisyal ng ARTA. Do you agree? Ulitin natin. The tall one is Yusek Kita, the dark one is Yusek Perez, and the handsome is Yusek Doy Bringas. Of course, he is the host of this event. Thank you so much, Attorney Kathleen Binila again. Sorry, pampalay ka ng moment yun. And we hope that you will be joining our next event also, which hopefully will be the signing of the deed of donation for the Citizen Services application. This is going to be between ARTA and UP PAF Respond. Kanina, Mr. Johan Lim did the interactive demonstration of the Citizen Services application. And we hope that all the faces or the people present here, virtually or physically, will also be available during our CSA deed of donation signing. So now, to formally close this event, we have again, one of our handsome officials, Undersecretary Ernesto V. Perez, the Deputy Director General for Operations, for the closing remarks.
Thank you, Ria. Not only is Attorney Mila lovely, she is very inspiring as well. Thank you for the message. Earlier, I was asking Yusakita, why are there two systems being offered to the public? One, the citizen service application by the UP Respond, and the other one, complaints management system by the Multisys. I can probably think of no other explanation except that one of my favorite quotations in life is that the best things in life come in pairs. I'm sure many of you or many of us here who are happily married will agree with me that really the best things in life come in pairs, because happiness is real when shared with others. Tama? During the early days of the pandemic, one also of the favorite quotations that I was able to hear is that during this pandemic period, digitization is no longer an option, but it's the default. As we approach and we look forward to the end of the pandemic, I think we should always be used to that notion that digitization is no longer an option, but the default. Just as ARTA is offering to the public two systems, which give the citizens an option, there is one default, and that is digitalization. Because as we all know, in bureaucracy, in public administration, red tape and corruption come together. And the best way to address red tape and corruption is digitization. Zero contact policy, transparency, these are all things that should be happening in a digital world. Just what we're doing right now, hybrid meeting, face-to-face and virtual meeting. Ganun na po ang nangyayari ngayon. I think we're getting used to this. And I hope that everybody will really appreciate what ARTA has been doing. Because at ARTA, our mantra is we streamline and we automate. We cannot automate unless we streamline the processes. Otherwise, yung palaging sinasabi ni Secretary Bellica, otherwise, we will just be automating red tape. We will not be able to address the problem at all. Just as ARTA has been organized, it has two-pronged functions or mandates. One, the enabling and capacitating side, which is being handled by the operations group, which I supervise. And the other one, the investigation and enforcement side, which is being handled by the legal group, by the Undersecretary Bringas. Yun po, meron tayong ino-offer sa public na electronic complaint system. Doon po sa operations group, meron din tayong counterpart doon. Yung tinatawag natin na report card survey that will collaborate the e-filing of complaints. Because in this way, we are able to track the compliance of agencies with ease of doing business law. Ito bang mga serbisyo na ino-offer nila sa publiko, ito ba ay talagang nararamdaman ng tao? Are they able to comply with the service standards that they offer to the public? At the same time, we're not using this only to monitor and evaluate the compliance of agencies, but also to recognize the compliance of this, due recognition to these compliant agencies. Yun po, we always come together. We always support each other at the Anti-Red Tape Authority. Just as the test of the pudding is in the eating, I do hope that when citizens are able to appreciate the twin solutions or the twin complaint system, I hope also, and I wish to assure the public that Anti-Red Tape Authority will be able and ready to address all of these complaints because kung tayo po ay mabubombard ng complaints, it will facilitate the filing of complaints electronically. We at the Anti-Red Tape Authority should also be prepared and be ready to address this. And we at the Anti-Red Tape Authority, led by our Director General, Secretary Belica, would like to assure the public that we will be ready. Kasi po sa atin, even as we face the end of our term on June 30, ang default po namin is still fast-tracking. Hindi po kami transitioning. We are fast-tracking so that by June 30, 2022, we are able to operationalize all the systems that we offer to the public so that whoever the next administration will be, it will just be easier for them to operationalize the system. So I wish to thank all of you, especially our partners from the UP Papris Fund and the Multisys for offering to us these systems for free at no expense to the public. So with this, maraming salamat po. I am given the easier task of closing, and I do wish that I would like to repeat that the systems that we should be offering to the public should always be with the collaborative support of everyone so that we should be ready to address these complaints in the standard processing time. Otherwise, masasubject po tayo sa automatic approval. Kung ano yung complaint na inyong pinasa sa amin, pag hindi namin inaksyonan, considered approved, di ba? Digital. So maraming salamat for joining us in this event. We at the Anti-Red Tape Authority are always happy to serve you with the best interest of the public in mind para putulin ang red tape, putulin ang korupsyon through the use of the digital platform. Maraming salamat and thank you for joining us.
Very well said. Our Deputy Director General for Operations Under Secretary Ernesto V. Perez. That's it. This has been a very fruitful and productive event. Nag-overtime lang tayo ng mga 30 minutes, but then, again, it's been a fruitful one. We are excited and we look forward for the general public to utilize these two new platforms, especially once we publicly roll these out. Once again, congratulations to ARTA and thank you so much to Multisys Corporation and of course, UP Papris Fund for your unwavering support and assistance to the Anti-Red Tape Authority. For more updates straight from the Anti-Red Tape Authority, you may follow, subscribe, or add any of our social media platforms. Here are they: website, email, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and even Twitter. You can also join our growing Viber community by scanning this QR code. This has been your host, Ria Fernandez Sabina, Communications Head of the Anti-Red Tape Authority. Have a nice day ahead.
Thank you.
Sa bulok ng sistema, walang asenso. Huwag ka nang makubad na sa'yo ang pagbabago. Limutin na masasamang halimbawa. Diskateng panis, itapon na. Magsibisyo ng tamang masilaw sa pera sa gobyerno. Dapat buo ang ating tiwala. Paspas Pilipinas, paspas. Trabaho at papeles, huwag nang ipabukas. Wakasan ng rete at lagayan. Sundin ang batas, bilisan ang kilos, kakanda ang bukas. Paspas Pilipinas, paspas. asenso. Huwag ka nang makupat na sa'yo ang pagbabago. Limutin mo na masasamang halimbawa. Diskarte panis, itapon na. Magserbisyo ng tama, huwag pasilo sa pera sa gobyerno. Dapat buo ang ating hiwala. Paspas Pilipinas, paspas. Trabaho at papeles, huwag nang ipabukas. Wakasan ng red tape at kagayan. Sundin ang batas, bilisan ng kilos. Kaganda ang bukas. Paspas Pilipinas, paspas. Paspas Pilipinas, paspas Pilipinas, paspas. Sama-sama tayo ay aahon. Dumating na ang tamang panahon. Matamis na bunga sa mabilis na aksyon. May buwelo na, huwag sayangin ang pagkakataon. Paspas Pilipinas, paspas. Trabaho at papeles, huwag nang ipabukas. Wakasan ng red tape at lagayan. Sundin ang batas, bilisan ng kilos. Kaganda ang bukas. Paspas Pilipinas, paspas. Paspas Pilipinas, paspas. Paspas Pilipinas, paspas. Paspas Pilipinas, paspas Pilipinas, paspas.
Smarter initiatives, better Philippines.